10,000 years of culture.
いらっしゃいませ。大阪にようこそ。
718 AD. The Japanese offer sushi for the first time. 1800 AD. The Japanese create modern sushi. 1967. Las Vegas, Nevada. Sushi is perfected.
Hi, I'm Gene Nakanishi, owner of Osaka Japanese Bistro. For the best authentic Japanese cuisine, any dish you find in Japan, you can find it at Osaka. We're located at 4205 West Sahara Avenue. Or visit our Henderson location just past Horizon Ridge.
Find the cure for Geritol Radio right here in Las Vegas.
The Sex and Money Show takes on cutting-edge topics, has the most interesting guests, and pursues timely topics.
The Sex and Money Show, perfect for Las Vegas and the world.
Join Len Connell for The Sex and Money Show.
Every weekday at high noon.
The Sex and Money Show.
I'm up sometimes, see me.
It's 12 o'clock, Las Vegas. Time for Sex and Money with Len Connell, Legal Eagle Miller, and Dr. Maurice Gregory, Dr. G.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas. Big Magic Al Jensen coming to you from the Sex and Money Studios at KLAV AM 1230 here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And I say beautiful because we are approximately 30 days into winter, and 26 of those days have been above average temperature-wise. That's why we live in Vegas, everybody.
You got it.
That's right. In studio with me today, Len Connell. Len, you're sitting in the co-pilot's chair today. A little different for you.
Exactly. We have a big show today.
Yes,
so
we do.
You're the pilot in command, officer in command at the controls, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
All right. So I have the eject button here just in case we need to eject anybody. And Legal Eagle Miller. This is Legal Friday. So
Yes.
Welcome, Miller. Good to see you.
How are you, Lynn?
Wonderful.
It's nice to see you back here. We haven't seen you in a while, of course.
It's been a while. It's been busy with the Adult Video Expo
Adult Entertainment
2014.
Expo and the
Yeah.
Adult Video News Awards
I've
and
tried
all
to
that kind of
relax.
stuff. So I'm kind of surprised to see you up this time of day, Len.
If you guys have been looking at the Sex and Money Facebook site, we got all the pictures of all the beautiful women and all the parties and
Well,
all
all
the
the
stuff that
pictures
we've
we
been
could
doing.
post anyhow.
I'm glad.
Exactly. Well, there is such thing as paint. We can pixelate them. We can put little moons on them.
I'm just glad all those pictures of me judging over at the Voo Awards have been pushed down a little bit. I got a lot of calls on that.
I want to shout out to Trey Johnson of BMT Management Group. He and Crystal Carrington invited me to the pre-Adult Entertainment Expo opening party at the Hard Rock Hotel Casino on Wednesday night. And I'm showing my age. It took me all day yesterday to recover from that. I have no idea how those people party that hard.
It's easy.
Is it really?
Of course.
Well, spoken by somebody who's 20 years younger than me. That's easy for you to say.
You go out and you stay up, and all the excitement, the rumor or the myth of the pumped in oxygen into the hotels,
Yeah.
of course, But
Well, that's got to be the case. I
do a
don't know
little
how
Wolf of Wall Street activity.
because I didn't get home until I left the party at about 4 o'clock, and I felt guilty for leaving because it was just starting to get exciting then. So, and I have no idea how I used to do that when I was in my 30s and early 40s.
You have no idea because you did it so hard.
Apparently.
You can't even remember.
Apparently all those
That's
brain
the
cells
thing.
have
You
already
can't
been
even
burned
remember.
off. Hey, Miller, I understand that you have some news regarding George Zimmerman. Apparently he had a sale here recently. Tell us about
well,
that.
he's George Zimmerman. For the listeners out there who recall, I followed that trial last year, the Trayvon Martin case, and he was the defendant in that one. And I made a ruling, and it was upheld for that matter. And what he's been
doing
by
the sitting judge upheld your ruling.
Yes, the sitting judge upheld my ruling. I dismissed it. I threw it out. I said, you don't have a case, and we were all waiting to see if I was right on my verdict. I said, I took the evidence that was made public and made a ruling, and that Friday when they went into deliberations, we were waiting on air, but we didn't get the ruling until the next Saturday, and bam, I was dead on. So that was one where I was dead on, and a couple of more as well throughout last year. But it seems as though Mr. Zimmerman has been passing his time away in oil painting. He's been painting oil.
Really?
He's been doing oil painting. Now, last month he was arrested allegedly in a domestic violence matter where he had allegedly held a gun up to his girlfriend or something of that nature. And that's been since thrown out, a DA reject because of the failure to prosecute on that matter, where he and his girlfriend went and picked up the weapons together, of course, from the police department, from the sheriff's department, Seminole County. Well, last week, I believe it was on eBay, he put out his artwork, and it was auctioned off, and it pulled in a little north of $100,000.
100 G's?
100 G's. So,
my goodness.
Which will probably immediately be seized by his past legal team because I'm sure he's in debt. But nevertheless, it's something. It's something. At least he's doing something.
Yeah.
So there's something there I wanted to mention. So, but I wouldn't. I don't support everyone go out there and get arrested for anything just to start your art career. So.
Yeah, that's probably not a wise career move, is it?
No.
I mean, if you had to do it, post-arrest, I suppose that's okay, but don't plan on doing that.
But everybody's got to make some light and somehow of their fame. I mean, we've got the girl last year that was convicted of shooting and stabbing her boyfriend, who is tweeting somehow and selling bands for her defense.
Huh.
Or not even her defense, but what was the girl's name?
I don't recall.
You don't recall? I don't recall here.
I'm not on her tweet list. So.
I'm not on her list, but I know it's not Casey Anthony. Of course, she's been. There's something in the media there. But one of the girls last year who her boyfriend was in the bathroom and he was in the shower and she stabbed him and stabbed him a bunch of times and strangled him. I mean, it was accidental.
Remind me not to go to the bathroom when I go to her place.
It was all accidental. It was second thought. It was rage. And so, but now she is selling. Everybody's selling something, So, but there's a little bit of fame. A little bit of fame. You've got to get that out there. And sometimes people. The bad thing about our media is that in our country, you are not guilty until proven guilty, and in some cases, when they are released,
you're innocent until proven guilty.
Nobody's innocent.
Nobody's
innocent.
No
one's innocent.
I am innocent.
I had a law instructor tell me we don't use the word innocent.
No, I'm
here.
innocent.
No one
I am innocent.
So he was found not guilty, but things like this paint a terrible light, and the guy will probably never get a job anyway, no decent job. So they've got to come up with ways to fund their life.
Sure.
So, and that was the way. But so, congratulations to, and don't get mad at me for saying it, but I'll congratulate anyone that can move on.
You're going to get messages and phone calls and all sorts of stuff.
I've been called all kinds of things on the internet over the last week, especially over our prosecutor's death.
Well, we'll have to get back into that next week. But today we have a couple of special guests in the studio, and let's move right on and bring our first guest in. We have with us today sex worker and the executive producer of American Courtesans from the Bay Area, California, Kristen D'Angelo. Kristen, welcome to the Sex and Money Show.
Hi, how are you today?
Now, I have to be right up front with you. It's not Sex for Money Show. That's a completely different show, all right?
Although arrangements can be made.
Oh, yeah. We're open for negotiation and discussion. But I'm still innocent until proven guilty. So anyhow, Kristen, welcome. We're glad to have you in the studio with us today.
Thank you.
So you are the executive producer of American Courtesans, and that is a feature documentary about the lives of 11 sex workers in the United States today. Can you tell us a little bit about what the show includes and talks about?
The documentary isn't a salacious documentary. So if people are looking for something that actually has sex in it or is the typical thing that you see out there in this day and age, that's not what you're going to get.
Okay.
The documentary is a documentary that chronicles the lives of 11 sex workers in the U.S. And this is in current time. We're not going back historically.
Okay.
We're just using our lives.
Okay, within the recent years.
Right. And we're talking about what our lives were like, what led us to the doors of the sex industry, and what our lives are like now. What was the impetus for those choices, and what were the repercussions and the benefits?
Now, you use the term our. Are you chronicling some of your experiences as well?
My life is in there too, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So are these all female sex workers?
They're all female sex workers because that's pretty much my peer group. I do know male and transgender sex workers.
Okay.
But when I began reaching out to people, first of all, I don't think this has ever been done before. We aren't hidden. Our faces aren't like covered. We aren't like
not
shirking in the
pixelated.
shadows.
Sure.
No.
Okay.
We're standing out there and say, this is who I am. It's like we're coming out of the closet.
Mm-hmm.
And so in doing that, I began by contacting people who are some of the closest to me in my life.
All right.
And asking them if they would be willing to do this. There's a huge risk whenever you do that or come out of the closet.
Absolutely.
So we had to all get together as a unit and be very clear about what the costs could be for doing this.
Sure. And when did this documentary, when was it released?
It was released, I want to say it released not even a year ago. I think it was April of last year.
So within the past year.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And have there been any negative repercussions to you or any of the people that are featured?
Yes. Mostly what I've had is hate mail. I've had my phones hacked. I've had my email hacked. I've had, a lot of angry people not wanting us to tell our stories.
And were these some of the repercussions that you had anticipated or thought, could occur?
Yes. We actually didn't know. I mean, we haven't stepped out before. It's sort of like in the gay rights movement where people start stepping
breaking new
out.
ground here, and you don't know exactly what to expect, but you did at least have the foresight to realize that, this may not be welcomed by open arms from everybody in the country.
We live in hiding, most of us.
Do you?
Most of us are scared to death that anybody will know who we are. So many of us have lost our children. We've lost our families. We've lost our friends. We've been run out of neighborhoods. People don't want us around. They want us out of the industry, but they don't want us around them. They wouldn't hire us.
Uh-huh.
So we sort of knew this was going to happen. One of the women, before the film was released, she had in Minneapolis had got arrested. And this would have been it was what I called that condom law thing, that we aren't allowed to possess condoms. And she got arrested on this. That probably would have been a non-issue. It's a traffic ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But because they found out that she was in the film, it became like a Fox News thing. There were reporters out front of her house. She had children. It was horrific for her because of her speaking out.
Mm-hmm. Now, we talked earlier about a particular misconception, and we're going to start talking a little bit about trafficking, human trafficking. That will kind of be a recurring theme over our show today. And we talked about the fact that there is a misconception that all workers in the sex trade are trafficked. And I don't think anything could be further from the truth. Is that right?
It's absolutely the opposite. There are so many people who are what I call trafficked, or they have no free choice. They're slaves. And that doesn't even just happen in the sex industry. That happens in so many industries.
Right.
But this is a profession like everything else. Like, we go to work to earn a living. Mm-hmm. It's a choice. It's a job. It's a career. Those of us who stay around a long time become very good at our profession. Mm-hmm. And by saying that all sex workers are basically victims, you are taking away our free choice. It's like we aren't allowed to have the choice to do what we want behind closed doors that other people do. Like, all of a sudden, we don't count. We have no control over that. And that's very far from the truth. And it doesn't mean there aren't victims out there. Sadly to say, there are very many victims.
Sure. There are victims out there, but not necessarily all of them are trafficked or doing it against their will.
No, and in fact, we could be the United States' best allies at fighting against that if we would be able to be basically frank and open about what the situation truly is.
Right. Wow, this is a very interesting topic. We have to go to our quarter-hour break right now. Will you stick with us for the next quarter hour?
Absolutely.
Very good. Lots more to talk about with Kristen D'Angelo. You're listening to the Sex and Money Show, KLAV AM 1230 Las Vegas. Back in a moment.
Chronic pain sufferers, tired of being enslaved to opiates? Tired of being hooked on pills? Break free. Call Dr. G, 702-822-1356. My office is located at 2020 Gold Ring, Suite 503, Las Vegas, Nevada, between Valley Hospital and University Medical Center. Stop counting pills and start counting days of relief.
At Your Service Cleaning Services is a family-owned business,
providing you the best in punctual, thorough, and respectful residential and commercial cleaning services.
Our staff is uniformed, licensed, and bonded. We are able to provide rust services, and we supply all cleaning materials and equipment.
Call 888-449-5841. That's 888-449-5841.
The Cool Trade, the next generation of automated stock trading. Cool Trade is a 100% point-and-click robotic trading system. Cool Trade levels the playing field and allows you to trade at home the same way as the traders at major financial institutions. Don't worry, our software is easy to learn and easy to use. No one can predict what stocks will do, but we do know that they'll go up and down. Cool Trade is designed to trade the market for you and has the ability to make profits either way. Whether you're new to online investing, an experienced investor, or an active trader, Cool Trade is all you need to succeed. It's time to regain confidence in the market and join the robotic trading revolution. Take action today.
Call M&A Legal Management at 888-449-5841 or visit us online at www.anybodytrade.com.
Cool Trader Pro and Cool Trade do not make, buy, sell, or hold recommendations. Unique experiences and past performances do not guarantee future results. Cool Trader Pro and Cool Trade are software-related companies and are not licensed broker-dealers. Investing in the stock market can be considered high risk, and participants should consult with their financial advisors regarding risk and suitability.
Hi, I'm Noah, host of the Legal Brief segment of the Sex and Money Show, where we will discuss the law of the land in a sexy, in-your-face manner.
Controversy with a Y, and he doesn't pull any punches.
From high noon to 1 p.m. on the Sex and Money Show.
I'm a bad boy.
Good people get arrested.
That is true.
They took you to jail.
Now what do you do?
890-30 bail bonds will be there for you.
Call us at 702-648-2663. That's 648-BOND.
You've been a very bad girl.
Do you know what Ganodermic is? Let's get you on a safe, effective, natural, integrated approach to weight control, pain management, and your best health. Maybe I can help. Call me, Dr. G, 702-822-1356. My office is located at 2020 Gold Ring, Suite 503, Las Vegas, Nevada, between Valley Hospital and University Medical Center, and start living.
And now, your sexy traffic report on the Sex and Money Show.
Okay, we got some major accidents out there, a lot of them in the downtown area. We have an F Street road closure at I-15 that's certain to back up a bunch of traffic. Got an accident on 4th and Bridger, Bonneville and Maryland Parkway. Let's go over to the I-15. I-15 southbound Tropicana exit going towards Las Vegas Boulevard South. Accident blocking all the right lanes. That's going to create some major problems there. Spring Mountain Road in Las Vegas Boulevard South. That's near the Wynn and the Encore. You got an accident there. On the west side, Decatur and Trop, you've got an accident there. Also, we had a fatal accident earlier this morning on I-15 westbound on the Charleston off-ramp. Even though that accident's been cleared, expect delays from the investigation activities. Sex and Money Traffic Report, KLEV, AM 1230, Las Vegas.
Your stepfather and your mother had a child, and they sent you away?
Yeah. I came from a well-to-do family. I've been a sex worker since I was 13.
From a very early age, there was somebody who had what I call a hands-on problem. I had something men wanted, a powerful enough thing to make good men do bad things.
She was very physically abusive. The only person in my life I was ever scared of was my mother.
I remember him being on top of me. I tried to scream. I remember the taste of blood and wondering, is that mine or his?
I don't know what to do. He goes, hey. He goes, I know how you can make money.
I see a star in you. You love it up on stage. My wife is Miss Nude Universe.
Within 6 months of living with my husband, he raised his hand to me and I left and I never went back. I don't know what primal instinct came over to me to say I wasn't putting up with that. I'd rather be homeless. And it was the street girls that took me under their wing and were kind to me.
Joe liked to freebase.
I had to let him know that it was nothing that he did. He's been a good father. He's done everything for me and he's raised me so good. And that's why I have to be responsible.
I was 18 when my mom found out that I was an escort.
We were in the office, and I was like, come smoke a joint with me. I don't do this because of my father or because we were poor. I do it because I love my body. I like the way I look. I can make money with it.
When she's mad at me, she's calling me that. What do you think, you're my pimp? So that offends me, actually.
Rescued means they get arrested. It means when they're in jail, the prison guards will rape them. And that, to me, is not any way to rescue any women.
My first sexual experience was with a prostitute.
And she goes, if you stay in the city, you're gonna die.
I'm just afraid that you just won't love me anymore because I'm dirty, I'm tainted. I said, but this is what I feel I need to do.
I've never had so much money in my hand in my life, and I got it just doing that.
If and when my wife decides to retire, I'll be happy about that.
Lifted up my chin. He just told me how proud he was of me.
But if you stay here, you're dead.
Please tell me that this is a joke, because this is just too easy.
She spends a lot of time away from home, and we don't get to see each other as often as we would like.
KLAV AM 1230, Las Vegas, with Kristen Angelo out of the San Francisco Bay Area, sex worker and the executive producer of American Courtesans. Once again, Kristen, thanks so much for being on the Sex and Money Show with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Very glad to have you here. And also, our primary sponsor, Dr. Maureen Gregory, Dr. G. It's great to have you in the studio as well.
Well, it's absolutely great to be here.
Thank you so much. I know that you're so busy with so many things. You got students tagging around, and you're running all sorts of different programs. I don't know where you find the time to come in and share your expertise with us. But I know one of the big issues that you are involved in is education, making certain that people have the necessary knowledge to make wise choices and wise decisions. And one of the things that I think Kristen has expressed is that education and information is really an opportunity for protection.
Absolutely.
So why don't you expand upon that just a little bit?
Well, I know in my own private practice, sometimes the office manager gets on my case because I stay too long in the rooms with the patients. But I feel like the better informed people are in any arena, then the better they are able to protect themselves and advocate for their positions.
Absolutely.
And
now you're seeing patients when they have a problem.
Right.
Now, if we could maybe integrate some more information and education in the schools,
absolutely,
perhaps it wouldn't get to the point where they're having to come in and seek medical attention.
I'm a big advocate of sex education because one of my specialties is HIV treatment and other STDs. Well, I don't think it, I know it. Education reduces the rates of these diseases. And at least if a person's walking into something with both eyes open, then they can say, oh, I need this kind of protection, or I need to take this kind of activity. So that's why I was so excited to have Kristen on our show today when her producer, her manager called me. And I said, heck yes. And I called Lynn and said, drop everything, clear the board. I want to have this lady in here because I really want to put forward, this is going to be an example. Nobody looks at porn. If you have a crowd of people sitting in front of you and you say, anybody out here who looks at porn, raise your hand. No hands will go up. And yet, that's the only thing on the internet that's making money. Right. So somebody must be looking at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's the same thing with education. Sex workers couldn't survive if there wasn't somebody who was being a customer.
Exactly.
And either they're being a customer or they're exploiting. But what bothers me, which is what really attracted me to what's happening with you, is that these people, we're using them and then we drop kick them to the side. If something happens to one of these people, i.e. serial killer, rapist, abuse, loss of their children, things that happen in the legal system, even if they just get a ticket, like you were just saying, for something that should be minor, then all of a sudden, red lights, blue lights, everything comes on. This is an evil person. Let's throw a sheet over their head and drag them off to the gallows. That's where I want this to be brought to the front. Education so that people can make reasonable choices and recognize everybody is a person. We all have the same rights as everyone else, and we need to be treating other people the way we'd want to be treated, no matter what's coming behind them.
Exactly. Now, Kristen, I want to bring you back in here, and I want to talk about some of the laws that we have in the United States that kind of don't make sense regarding condoms and prostitution, no prostitution zones, and legalization versus decriminalization, things like that. Let's talk about some of these condom laws and how silly they really seem.
We call them condom laws. There's no actual law saying condoms are legal or illegal.
Right.
I mean, pertaining to sex workers. But what happens in many states in the United States, they allow condoms to be used as evidence of committing a crime.
Really?
Which means that the bar for prosecution is lower than it should be. If you are a known sex worker, you have an ad, you show up in an appointment, and you are in possession of more than 1 or 2 condoms, they consider that enough to prosecute.
Really?
So sex workers are prosecuted on the basis that they have condoms. Well, what happens when you make laws like that or you allow things like that to happen is people begin to make unhealthy decisions.
Mm-hmm.
People who are engaged in what I call survival sex make decisions no longer to carry condoms. Why? They're trying to survive. They're trying to feed a kid, keep a roof over the head. They are trying to survive.
Right, Dr. Gregory?
And this is exactly where we work against our best education. HIV, STDs. I deal with this every single solitary day, 24/7. If it's not in the office, someone's calling me. What is the leading protection against passage of disease?
Yeah, condoms.
Condoms, people.
Absolutely.
Education, and then we do things against our own best education.
Yeah. We make it a crime basically to carry more than 1 or 2 condoms, and that's ridiculous, isn't it?
And in so many cases, particularly in California, and I've been doing a little research while we were here talking and listening as well, but I'm aware of different zones that they call prostitute abatement zones. I mean, these zones, and I personally have been pulled over for doing, let me tell you what I did. I was driving down Sunset Boulevard, and they have prostitute abatement zones. After 10 o'clock at night, you can't turn left or right onto any of the side streets unless you're a resident in the area, because it was a known area that prostitutes would walk up and down the streets, and of course you have guys or women or whomever stopping, making U-turns, etc. So I didn't know this, and it was right when I went there for school. But on another note, with keeping it said with these condom laws, California has initiated, and we've got AVN in town now with the adult industry and so forth. California has the laws, of course, that require condom usage in pornography and so forth.
In the filming process.
In the filming process. So in one scenario, they have laws that say you have to do this, and they know why they did it. It was because it was a public health concern. It's a public safety concern. That's for the public good. Okay, public policy supersedes any kind of entertainment aspect of this. Yet you have your prosecutors going into court and letting the police officers and investigators argue that, well, you had a pack of condoms on you, you had more than 6, you had more than 5, so you must be doing something illegal. So it's a double standard. It's very ambiguous, and something that any first-year law school student should be able to get thrown out of court if someone raises that argument.
And there's a little caveat to that. Many of the porn stars, with the proliferation of porn on the internet, it makes it hard for porn stars to make a living doing just porn. So many of the adult entertainers are crossover entertainers, which means in one instance, early in the day, they are required to use condoms. If they leave set and have those condoms on them, now they're at risk of being arrested because now they're going out to escort or do something else, and they're carrying those condoms.
Which would definitely be in the first line of defense for those defense attorneys if you should ever come up upon need, would be something that should be brought up in the defense process in challenging the DA's office. So
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Not only that, but it's a huge human and civil rights issue. We are not allowed to do the same things that other people in the United States are. We are not allowed the same protection or the same, birth control as other people in the United States. That's insane.
Right. Wow, we've got a lot to talk about. We have to go to our half-hour break, but I trust Dr. Gregory and Kristen, you'll stick with us. We've got a lot more to talk about when we come back. You're listening to the Sex and Money Show on KLAV AM 1230, Las Vegas.
Leave it on that dial.
Chronic pain sufferers, tired of being enslaved to opiates? Tired of being hooked on pills, break free. Call Dr. G, 702-822-1356. My office is located at 2020 Gold Ring, Suite 503, Las Vegas, Nevada, between Valley Hospital and University Medical Center. Stop counting pills and start counting days of relief.
I'm Manhattan Miller, and I'm what happens in Vegas. From Paris to London, New York to Las Vegas, whether I'm out on the town or at home with your significant other, two things are for sure. I'm old school Vegas, and I always drink Frankovich Manhattans, handcrafted in micro batches by Frankovich Distillers, Reno, Nevada. Enjoy Frankovich Manhattan cocktails responsibly. Available now at select Costco, Total Wine, and Walmart stores. Hi, I'm Miller of M&A Legal Management. We are committed to providing high-quality services and customer satisfaction.
M&A Legal Management provides business concierge-level services, combining all the unique services of executive representative, personal assistant, personal agent, and more.
Business startup packages beginning at $49. We do patents, trademarks, divorces, and court filings too, and customized legal research starting at our $19.99 hourly rate.
We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. Call M&A Legal Management at 888-449-5841 or visit us online at www.localbusinessservices.us.
When faced with a legal matter, contact Legal Solutions to You. We are a multi-state network of the top attorneys available, specializing in a wide range of services, including
personal injury, immigration, bankruptcy, criminal matters, business matters, and many more.
Quality legal representation is essential. Our goal is to provide the best legal representation available.
Stop being a victim.
Call us toll-free 855-775-2928. That's 855-77-LAW-TO-YOU. Or visit us online at legalsolutions2you.com.
Julia Sarah Boutique for the best in upscale fashions at affordable prices. Choose from a wide selection of dresses, gowns, jackets, boots, shoes, and more. Ladies and gentlemen's fashions available. Whatever your personal style, Julia Sarah Boutique has everything you need to look your best. Call 888-449-5841 or like us on Facebook for special promotions and invitations.
Do you know what Ganoderma is? Let's get you on a safe, effective, natural, integrated approach to weight control, pain management, and your best health. Maybe I can help. Call me, Dr. G, 702-822-1356. My office is located at 2020 Gold Ring, Suite 503, Las Vegas, Nevada, between Valley Hospital and University Medical Center, and start living.
The weather for the weekend gonna be, will it be hot, cold, rain, snow? Ooh.
And now, your sexy weather report on the Sex and Money Show.
Currently at KLAV Studios, we have 63 degrees under beautiful sunny skies. We're going to have an afternoon high of 67 and an overnight low of 42. Tomorrow we have a high of 69, a low of 41. Coming into Sunday and early in the week, we're going to go to partly cloudy skies with a high of 68 and a low of 39. Sex and Money Traffic Report, KLAV, 1230 a.m., Las Vegas.
Hi, I'm Gene Nakanishi, owner of Osaka Japanese Bistro. For the best authentic Japanese cuisine, we are the first authentic Japanese bistro established in 1967.
Enjoy a fine evening of jazz at Osaka Japanese Bistro's Henderson location, featuring the Naked Fish Band, offering 3 fine dining experiences, choosing from the sushi bar, the teppanyaki grill, and traditional tatami rooms, all at the same location.
Any dish you find in Japan, you can find it at Osaka. We are located at 10920 Southeastern Avenue, just past Horizon Ridge. Or visit our original location on West Sahara next to the Statue of Liberty.
And we're back on the Sex and Money Show this Friday, the 17th of January, 2014. Big Magic Al Jensen here, your host. In studio today, Len Connell. We have Legal Eagle Miller. Special guest, sex worker from the Bay Area, California, Kristen D'Angelo, and also the executive producer of American Courtesans, and our primary sponsor of the Sex and Money Show, Dr. Maureen Gregory. Dr. G, great to have you in the studio today. We don't see enough of you.
I know. I'm out there running, trying to make a living and keep it all happening.
Things going on. And as you well know, we have the Adult Entertainment Expo and the Adult Video News Awards are here in Las Vegas. And we love having those people in Las Vegas because it is a tremendous economic impact on our city.
Precisely.
They come to town, they spend money on hotel rooms, on drinks, and on entertainment, and they have a great time. And we, as a city of Las Vegas, appreciate that because they help keep the lights on. They help keep the schools open. They help keep the roads paved and things like that. And similarly, I think nationwide, if the sex trade actually went away, that would be a tremendously devastating impact on our economic system, wouldn't it?
I think it would have an effect on the hospitality issue. During the break, Kristen was bringing out to me about how many million hotel rooms are rented per year directly related to the sex trade in this country, the United States of America. Now, you think about the rate anywhere from $75 to, say, $250 a day for a room, and multiply that times so many 100,000 up to maybe $1 million, you're talking about $1 billion in the hospitality industry.
Right.
You're talking about supporting the maids and their families.
Right.
You're talking about supporting the telephone industry. You're talking about supporting painters and carpenters and bricklayers and people who have to maintain these hotels.
Right, it's wide-ranging.
And someone may say, Dr. Gregory, are you advertising? No, let's talk about another angle on this. Think about the period of time when we had outlawed alcohol.
Right.
Totally outlawed it. And look at the crime rates. They changed it. Now you get government care and responsibility for the type of liquor we're drinking. The alcohol is there for what? Protected. When you drink a bottle of whiskey, you don't have to worry about getting poisoned. Because so during that period when it was outlawed, bootleg liquor or, out in the woods made in the hot tub
Moonshine.
with dead pigs
Moonshine.
floating in it, moonshine. I'm
Yeah.
aware because I was living in Tennessee in those days. We'd have a death every single week.
Right.
Now, fast forward to 2014, marijuana. Patients coming in, smoking who knows what, and I'm trying to deal with their lungs. Okay, I'm not happy they're smoking marijuana, but I'm happier that they're smoking real marijuana, maybe legalized, and not some powder that's been cut with celery stalks and grass off the side of the street. Now I'm going to take another step forward.
Okay.
And we're going to look at this industry. I mean, we were just talking about this and how it is with a certain legalization, then there's a certain amount of safety for the sex worker who may be being exploited and seen by a customer, and that customer runs out of pure fear. Can't report it. Can't let that young lady be exposed who may be underage or held captive, or bring that out a little bit more, Kristen.
We could be the United States' best allies in helping victimized youth or victimized people. It doesn't have to be a youth. We always think it's a child. Any age could be victimized.
Exactly.
And so we could actually make a dent in the situation if we were allowed to report. However, when I have clients who come to me or other people who come to me and tell me about that, we're very aware it's a choice between our life and trying to save somebody else.
Right, because they're in danger if they report.
Yes.
To lose family, job, and everything.
I tell people it's not worth it. I mean, I like to tell you it is. We'd all like to think that you could go out there and save somebody. But do you really want to do it at the expense of your own world? Do you want to affect your own families? If they decide to target you, your face will be plastered on the papers, your family will be humiliated. Make a choice. Nobody's going to make a choice for that other person. And because we don't have that relationship with law enforcement, it's an area that those youths go on being victimized over and over and over. Why? Those who are inside the industry seeing it daily are silenced.
Well, our legal expert here, Judge, suppose just like we're able to report other crimes anonymously, then someone could say, I was at such and such a place, I saw this situation, and I'm really afraid for the girl there.
That is definitely a good point, and it's something that should be brought to our attention, something that should definitely be able to be available because, I mean, we have whistleblower laws, and we have, you can call in if you're feeling suicidal, being anonymous for the most part, or if you know someone that is. Why not have this as an option as well? And, the district attorney in so many family matters and domestic matters, they take it upon themselves to take cases away from the victims, in a lot of domestic violence matters, and prosecute regardless of whether or not that victim is going to be a witness. So, back in the day where you would have like wives and girlfriends or boyfriends and husbands, victimized by their spouse or their loved one or somewhat, and then they'd be charged with something, but because the wife now loved him again, or the girlfriend now wanted to be back with him again, or fear, could have been any number of reasons, wouldn't cooperate with the district attorney's office, then the case will be dropped. Well, now the DA doesn't need you. So if you call the police, the DA finds enough evidence, he doesn't need the victim to prosecute. And in this circumstance, if someone were to call in anonymously, now the problem with this though is if they call in anonymously, it'll spur an investigation. It would and it could, but in order to prosecute, you would ultimately then need the witness testimony, affidavit, something of that nature, and it's no longer confidential. It's public record then. And if they're over 18, it won't be sealed.
And not only that, is what happens, let's say you know that there's a massage parlor that has people being trafficked, and you call in and report it. The police go in and arrest everyone in there. Now, if those people who are being trafficked choose not to testify, then they catch a case, period. It doesn't matter what age they are. It doesn't matter if they're slaves. It doesn't matter if they have free will. They catch a case. If they do decide to cooperate and testify, they are also then required to finish a diversion program, which is like sentencing them to a program for offenders. If they don't complete the program, they catch a case. Now, to me, that's like saying you go in and you have a spouse who's abusing his wife, and if she doesn't testify, then she goes to jail.
Or vice versa.
If she doesn't complete a program, she catches a beef too. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
It goes along with, and here's something that a lot of the listeners and us here in the studio don't understand and may not really comprehend. When the judges make rulings, or not even a ruling, in the middle of a proceeding, they'll order someone to go to treatment. Whatever comes out of that judge's mouth during the course of a proceeding is to be taken as an order. It's on record. So if the judge says, okay, this is what you need to go to treatment, you need to do this. Once it's an order from a judge, not doing it is a violation of the judge's order. So regardless of what it is, anything that comes out of that judge's mouth that he tells you have to do while in the middle of a proceeding, if you don't do it, you could be held in contempt of court because you didn't do it. So I don't care if the judge said, don't forget to go home and brush your teeth and come back with, evidence that you bought toothpaste on the way, etc. And then the next time you show up in court and the person says, like in My Cousin Vinny, I thought you were joking. Right? So, come in my courtroom with a suit, a decent suit. There were days when judges here in Nevada would require full coats, 120 degrees outside. You had to show up in full coats. And and every judge in his courtroom oftentimes has different rules.
This is the conundrum. How to protect, shield, and advocate.
Yes.
Right. Now, Kristen, last week, I think you were in Sacramento lobbying against a law that bans rape victims if they were attacked while involved in an act of prostitution from receiving victim compensation funds.
Absolutely.
How did that go?
We won.
Excellent.
It was a huge victory for sex workers. In 1999, they passed a law that it was a regulation that was added on to the victim compensation fund, saying that any known sex worker was not eligible for victim compensation funds.
Right.
So if you're a known sex worker and you're raped, the view was you deserved it. So that's gone now. We changed that.
Very good. So your work is having an impact. That's got to feel good.
It feels great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot more to talk about. I trust you're going to be able to stick with us after this break.
Yes.
Very good. Stick with us. We got a lot more to talk about here on the Sex and Money Show. This is KLAV AM 1230, Las Vegas.
Do you know what ganoderming is? Let's get you on a safe, effective, natural, integrated approach to weight control, pain management, and your best health. Maybe I can help. Call me, Dr. G, 702-822-1356. My office is located at 2020 Gold Ring, Suite 503, Las Vegas, Nevada, between Valley Hospital and University Medical Center, and start living.
I'm Manhattan Miller, and I'm what happens in Vegas. From Paris to London, New York to Las Vegas, whether I'm out on the town or at home with your significant other, two things are for sure. I'm old school Vegas, and I always drink Frankovich Manhattans, handcrafted in micro batches by Frankovich Distillers, Reno, Nevada. Enjoy Frankovich Manhattan cocktails responsibly. Available now at select Costco, Total Wine, and Walmart stores.
The Cool Trade, the next generation of automated stock trading. Cool Trade is a 100% point-and-click robotic trading system. Cool Trade levels the playing field and allows you to trade at home the same way as the traders at major financial institutions. Don't worry, our software is easy to learn and easy to use. No one can predict what stocks will do, but we do know that they'll go up and down. Cool Trade is designed to trade the market for you and has the ability to make profits either way. Whether you're new to online investing, an experienced investor, or an active trader, Cool Trade is all you need to succeed. It's time to regain confidence in the market and join the robotic trading revolution. Take action today.
Call M&A Legal Management at 888-449-5841 or visit us online at www.anybodytrade.com.
Cool Trader Pro and Cool Trade do not make, buy, sell, or hold recommendations. Unique experiences and past performances do not guarantee future results. Cool Trader Pro and Cool Trade are software-related companies and are not licensed broker-dealers. Investing in the stock market can be considered high risk, and participants should consult with their financial advisors regarding risk and suitability.
I'm a bad boy.
Good people get arrested.
That is true.
They took you to jail.
Now what do you do?
890-30 bail bonds will be there for you.
Call us at 702-648-2663. That's 648-BOND.
You've been a very bad girl.
Chronic pain sufferers, tired of being enslaved to opiates? Tired of being hooked on pills? Break free. Call Dr. G, 702-822-1356. My office is located at 2020 Gold Ring, Suite 503, Las Vegas, Nevada, between Valley Hospital and University Medical Center. Stop counting pills and start counting days of relief.
And now, your sexy traffic report on the Sex and Money Show.
Okay, we've got a bunch of accidents out there. For the people in the northwest part of the valley, we have Ann Road and Centennial Center Road. We also have one in Eastern and Warm Springs. The accident's clearing on Bonneville and Maryland Parkway in the downtown area. We also have an accident on Spring Mountain Road eastbound going towards Las Vegas Boulevard South. Now, guess what? We had an accident that cleared on I-50 northbound to Charleston that's currently being investigated. Guess what? We just got another one. Sex and Money Traffic Report, KLEV, 12:30 a.m., Las Vegas.
All right, and we are back on the Sex and Money Show. We have a full studio today. We've welcomed Kristen D'Angelo, a sex trade worker from the Bay Area, California, and the executive producer of American Courtesans. And we also brought in a brand new co-host who occasionally shows up on Fridays. We're pleased to welcome Maureen Gregory. Maureen, welcome once again to the Sex and Money Show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
We're glad to have you here. Why don't you tell our listeners just briefly about your background and what you're doing these days?
I am going on my third year at SafeNest. We are a nonprofit domestic violence organization. So occasionally we do see young women who have been trafficked. A lot of people don't realize how many people or how many times domestic violence, physical, sexual, psychological abuse is involved in prostitution.
Right.
It looks very glamorous and it seems like you can make a lot of money and there's love to some extent involved with the pimps. And that is rarely ever the case.
Sure. Now, I know you have some questions for Kristen. Why don't you go ahead with those?
I did. My first question, I was so interested in coming in today because of your film. So can you tell us a little bit about how we can view that, where, when?
The film is on all major cable networks on In-Demand. We're on iTunes in, I believe, 5 countries, all the English-speaking countries from Australia, the UK, Canada, US. Oh, wow. Okay. We're on Amazon. We're on Vudu. We're getting ready to release on Hulu and Hulu Plus. We're on Google Play. We're on Redbox Instant, whatever the Instant Watch is. We're on all forms. And you can go to our website at www.americancourtesans.com, and there you can buy DVD and Blu-ray.
Oh, great. Okay. Definitely go and watch that for all of our all of our listeners out there. And then I also wanted to touch on Saturday was announced in D.C. that it was National Human Trafficking Awareness Day. And in response to that, I know a lot of people have been discussing this new law that came out, and it seems like it's going to be very effective. They're charging anybody who's benefiting from prostitution as being, I think you said, panderers or traffickers. So what might the possible ramifications be?
The new law actually scares most of us to death. And you would think it wouldn't, because I myself have been trafficked when I was younger, if you want to use that word, exploited over and over. I mean, I didn't know any better than most of these young kids do. That isn't the case today. This is my profession, but back then I was. But the problem is it conflates in somewhat sex work with trafficking. And what that means is, in most industries, if you employ somebody as a driver, as to answer the phone, it's so many ways you have employees. In this industry, if we employ somebody, they are now in danger of catching a felony, when us working is only a misdemeanor, because anybody who financially benefits can be seen as pandering in some way. Now, we don't know how they're going to apply that law, but we're seeing that happen more and more, where girls are posting ads on Backpage and going out all by themselves, not telling anybody, because nobody wants to be caught up in a felony. And so what's happening is, even though the law was sent out or put out to save, like, children or people who are being exploited, in a way it puts so many sex workers more at risk, that you're going to have a lot more violence, a lot more deaths, a lot more rapes, a lot more robberies, etc.
So during the break, I know you told me an example of that would be somebody who drives a woman to meet a client, and instead of being seen as somewhat, I don't want to say enforcer, but those people who drive them, they do definitely make sure those girls return, that they're paid, that they're not beat up or anything bad like that. So they would essentially be charged.
They could be charged for pandering, yes, and that's a felony. And so people are scared. They don't want to drive women anymore, and that puts people at risk. And if we as a country are shooting for harm reduction, we've done the opposite.
Always being on the adversary side, the defense side, and being the devil's advocate. One of the ways to do anything that would help would not necessarily have someone that's employed independently for transporting, but if it's for driving, for driving someone somewhere, that's why in Vegas, we have an abundance of lack of limousines and chauffeurs that are available during this last CES and the AVN, because that's one of the things that a lot of companies do, and like escort services even, they have these major companies on call just for driving. Of course, the driver can't do anything else, but a little something is better than a whole lot of nothing, I think.
Well, it is, but you're in Vegas. There's a whole country where that doesn't exist. There's a whole country where if these girls can't employ somebody, they're running their own business. They should be able to employ somebody. They're going to be in trouble. Vegas, you have tons of cars, there's so much more availability. But let's talk about some small town in Alabama.
And that's and again, those are discussions for the local enforcements. And every jurisdiction is different. Every state has its own laws. There are federal trafficking laws as well. But when it gets right down to it, it takes a while.
All right, we have had a fantastic time in studio today. Thank you to Kristen D'Angelo, executive producer, American Courtesans. Thank you, Len Connell, Legal Eagle Miller, Maureen Gregory, Dr. Maurice Gregory, myself, Big Magic Al Jensen. We've had a great time, talked about a lot of wonderful topics today. Kristen, we'd like to have you back and continue this conversation. So if you missed any of today's show, check us out tonight on Vegas All Night Radio at 10 p.m., where we'll have a complete replay of this show. And come back and see us again next week, Monday through Friday, noon to 1 on the Sex and Money Show. Thank you, everyone, for being in studio. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
And as I always say, good sex isn't always healthy, but good health is always sexy.
All right.
Have
Bye-bye,
a good
everybody.
Weekend. Bye-bye.